When a 30-year-old woman sits in her car, turns on her camera, and weeps to the internet, sometimes sniffing and gazing into an aggrieved middle distance with emotionally spent, incredulous, vague headshakes, the comment section will be a fortress of validation. Your standards aren't too high, men are just intimidated by your success.
Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again, and today we are taking a look at the insane world of Misandry. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you check out the channel memberships down below if you are interested in getting more videos, and let's jump right into it.
Casual sexism is on the rise against men. This is pretty much A-OK in the culture and media, with any female entertainer or ad producer having carte blanche to do the same in reverse, and slap on it notions like empowerment, a dose of the same medicine, narrative-claiming little pokes at patriarchy, and assertive attitude. Chapel Roan, who looks like Kate Bush dragged backward through a bush, said, "I'm never dating a man again. I'm not attracted to them. I don't like having sex with them. I don't think they understand me. I don't think they make good art."
The amount of hate that's been pushed towards men has been absolutely astounding. We live in a time where it's been seen as hip to hate men simply for existing. Meanwhile, a dude points out a modern woman's hypocrisy and he is seen as the worst criminal to just ever walk the earth.
Yeah, in terms of art, I don't think men are going to be brought down too many pegs by some chick whose thickly slathered cosmetics make her look like peak coked-up Ziggy Stardust era David Bowie crossed with an exotic rainforest parrot who shrieks, "Knee-deep in the passenger seat and you're eating me out," or "Get your baby, kiss your mom, call me up and I'm your dog."
If you actually listen to modern pop music, you will see that it's either incredibly brainless, shockingly violent, or just downright perverted, and these singers are seen as positive role models, by the way, for young, impressionable girls all over the world.
The worst, though, is Sabrina Carpenter, the most manufactured person in existence, and whose casual misandry is basically an element of her brand. Imagine if a male artist made a music video showing women getting deleted and physically dispatched and done with. Picking up on the trend, The Economist published an article titled, "A Wave of Songs is Taking Aim at Substandard Men." It's doubtful The Economist would run an article titled, "A Wave of Songs is Taking Aim at Substandard Women."
What's insulting is how when they say substandard, what they really mean is average. The only men these women value are dudes who are highly attractive, the top 5% or less. The remaining 95% of men are expected to face the venomous backlash of their ideologies.
On Manchild, Carpenter complains about how immature men can be. Stupid, or is it slow? Maybe it's useless, but there's a cuter word for it. I know, manchild.
I'm disappointed in your species.
Here's the thing. Your misandrist content can be partially performative, but still be misandrist. In fact, it can be worse, because if it's literal, then deal with it. And if it's partly satirical, then you can't grasp or cope with layers of subtext, so more fool you. Deal with it. Both suck. Both are misandrist.
They have rigged up the game so that no matter how men react to their bonkers worldviews, we are seen as the bad guys. We've heard every excuse in the book from modern women, and each one they give is more nonsensical than the last one.
So if Carpenter reveals the key to writing hits is call men stupid in as many ways as you can, it's annoying and stupid if it's literal, and annoying and stupid if it's tongue-in-cheek. These lyrics are interpreted by blockhead commentators as blunt, sexual positive, and defensive of her personal boundaries, rather than literal misandry. They supposedly function as a critique of male behavior, positioning her as a confident figure who doesn't tolerate man-children, so therefore they're about unabashedly having high standards.
There is no tangible definition for the term man-child. It's just another one of those buzzwords that modern women use to describe men they don't like. It's an insult and not a very clever one in my opinion.
Carpenter and Rowan are just adopting a satirical, assertive tone that critiques immature men and failed relationships. Songs like Manchild and Tears, they say, highlight themes of frustration with men's behavior, while embracing themes of female empowerment, sexual agency, and playful cynicism. No, screw any defense on the grounds of irony. Because men have their own variations of playing the satire card, and society has gotten tired of that, so it's also about time we called out bullshit female equivalents.
It's difficult to see how singing a song where you're literally saying that men are stupid, slow, and useless is somehow satirical. There's no satire behind that, let's be honest. It's literally just telling women that it's okay to insult men for no reason.
Guy variations are stuff like a rapper who blathers whole tracks of misogynistic rhymes, who then claims irony, or that he's just playing, or that he's somehow indemnified because of his background or upbringing, and it would be judgmental from a place of privilege for him to be called out in it. Or a guy who tries his luck and comes across as a bit creepy, who impinges upon a lady a little, who has an attitude, who overplays his hand, who then affects to mellow out with a broad grin and says, "I'm only kidding," or "Relax, don't take things so seriously," as if the whole flirting thing were just relatable teasing, and the woman might, by implication, be a bit stuck up or uptight if she also doesn't wryly smile and acknowledge the abrupt change in tone.
Modern women have an excuse like that already lined up. They say that because they're women, they are automatically oppressed thanks to things that happened to women over a century ago.
In gender relations, such ironies can have a nastiness to them when deployed by men and, in their own variations, by women. Also, rather than thinking men are lame, maybe do some self-reflection and ask, is there something about my persona that attracts inadequate or wimpy men? Or, put the other way, do high-value decent men not find me appealing, and therefore, when I hook up with the messy ones, am I projecting my frustrations onto masculinity as a whole? This would require some degree of accountability. But we're talking about broads here, so of course that would never happen.
Oh, I've been internalizing a really complicated situation in my head.
We all know that a modern woman will blame society, men, and the entire universe before taking a second to consider taking accountability for her actions. We see it all the time.
She disported herself on the cover of Rolling Stone with her signature, looking brain-dead like a doll, but actually it's kind of ironic, and I'm a shrewd self-marketer and manipulator of my image, but no, actually she's at a deeper irony, just a plastic superficial hoe expression. One commenter wrote, "This is the least sexual image. It's simply a feminine figure nude, with hair covering intimate areas. It's reminiscent of the birth of Venus by Botticelli. If we're viewing any image of a nude body as sexual, we're dangerously straying into conservatism here."
That photo has no warmth at all, no personality, no identity. It's clearly manufactured and eerily soulless, and they expect this garbage to somehow advertise her misandrist brand, by the way.
What? This isn't a stylish evocation of Botticelli's masterpiece. It's a second-rate gassed-up mid with strata layers of makeup showing her ass. Secondly, regarding something as superficial, tawdry, vulgar, and trashy doesn't automatically make you conservative. It just means you have basic things like taste, discretion, and an eye for sophistication and quality, which doesn't mean you have to appreciate some lobotomized Rapunzel.
These are the same women who ripped into men over that whole Sydney Sweeney ad campaign, by the way. Either men are pigs for showing interest, or we are mahoganists for not caring.
The extent to which blame can be apportioned to men in the modern age is almost hilarious. They are to blame for being presumptuous and approaching women in public, impinging upon them when they have a right not to be bothered. And they're also to blame for losing their nerve in failing to approach women in public, leading to many women lamenting that men don't hit on them anymore. They're even responsible for not getting women knocked up. Finally, men are getting the blame for female unplanned childlessness. A new report reveals that men's immaturity is partly to blame for the crash in the birth rate. Finally, people can see what women are up against. Oh, fuck.
They expect us to ignore how many modern women made it their business to avoid pregnancy and made it clear that they wanted adventure, excitement, and a career over a child, and yet that's somehow our fault as well.
Misandry starts young for guys. Teachers have been proven to be biased in the marking of girls' schoolwork. An OECD international report on gender in education across more than 60 countries found that girls receive higher marks compared with boys of the same ability. Researchers suggest girls are better behaved in class, and this influences how teachers perceive their work. There is a consistent pattern of girls' work being marked up. Teachers are said to reward organizational skills, good behavior, and compliance, rather than objectively marking pupils' work.
I don't think the last few generations of boys really had a chance. So many boys were brought up with this idea that they were cursed for being born male and they have to do everything to prove to the world that they are not quote-unquote toxic. It's actually just messed up.
It also raised questions whether this really benefited girls. Is it a good thing? Maybe in the short run you get a better school certificate, said the OECD's education director. In the long run, the world is going to penalize you because the labor market doesn't pay you for your school marks, it pays you for what you can do. In a more recent study in the British Journal of Sociology of Education, teachers were also shown to give higher grades to girls than to boys with the same academic ability, suggesting teachers are hardwired to give girls higher marks.
Boys in school are constantly being told that they are not good enough, that they have to push themselves harder to try and please a teacher who's just going to penalize him for something he has no control over at all.
The size of the gap is considerable and could have significant long-term consequences, both on college admission and employment prospects, the researchers said. Holy shit, has that bias against young men been borne out lately? And not just in terms of admissions, but in the character and societal esteem of college. Humanities enrollments are down 12% in the last 5 years. Many young men have opted against humanities degrees, perceiving that they have depreciated in cultural significance and depreciated in financial and career prospects.
Men have realized that there is virtually no benefit to going to college anymore. It's incredibly overpriced, the degrees are mostly useless, and all they get for their trouble is to just be endlessly lectured by militant feminists who hate him simply because he was born a man.
An Institute for Fiscal Studies found that women graduating from the University of Bolton earn around 10% less by the age of 29 than women who didn't attend university at all. There's an even stranger twist in this tale. Attractive female students no longer earned higher grades when classes moved online during COVID. When education is in person, attractive students receive higher grades in non-quantitative subjects in which teachers tend to interact more with students compared to quantitative courses. A Swedish university study found that attractive female students got higher grades in subjective, non-quantitative courses during in-person teaching, but that edge vanished when classes moved online. I don't even fucking know what to make of that.
And who says that pretty privilege isn't a thing? This isn't all that surprising, especially when we live in a society that says if a person is physically attractive, that must mean they're a good person as well.
Women will lament the inadequacies of men and criticize their behavior in general, but there's a hypocrisy here. As dating apps reveal, very attractive men don't benefit from tailoring their behavior to women's preferences because they're pursued without regard for their behavior. Women will experience some biological impulse to lower their IQ by about 33% around such attractive men, becoming more cutesy, eyes rounding in emphatic agreement. So these young guys saunter through their existence with the impression attractive women are cheerful creatures who live in a state of emotional primary colors.
That's not entirely accurate. We've been seeing a massive rise in highly attractive men who have actually grown sick of modern women themselves. There is no escaping that reality.
When a 30-year-old woman sits in her car, turns on her camera, and weeps to the internet, sometimes sniffing and gazing into an aggrieved middle distance with emotionally spent, incredulous, vague headshakes, the comment section will be a fortress of validation. Your standards aren't too high. Men are just intimidated by your success. The dating pool is trash. It's not your fault. Her being overwhelmed is framed as a hapless entanglement in a systemically flawed society. No such extent of empathy would be extended to a man sitting in his car in similar circumstances.
That's because despite all of the hateful rhetoric that modern misandrists spread, they still expect men to be men, right? They demand it. They just refuse to show any form of appreciation towards those same men.
After years of sociological prompting and prodding to divest himself of inhibiting traditional staunch masculinity and more fulsomely embrace emotional expressiveness, he would, in his situation, be told to stop being flaky and even be chastised as an example of the kind of inadequate man female singers routinely send up now.
That's because a lot of modern women don't want a quote-unquote emotionally intelligent man. That's the kind of behavior a simp expresses, and modern women simply can't stand the sight of simps. Oftentimes when they say emotionally intelligent guys, they just want a dude who will, open up and show his feelings and all of this crap, but really they don't like those men.
Women have created a strange disconnect in how they frame their fantasies. In ice hockey erotica fiction, or eye-popping, collar-twitching and loosening, egregiously horny romantasy fiction, the masculine archetypes are described as more traditional beefcake, aloof, tall, six-pack flourishing, toned types. But without literal visual stimuli, they are brought to life in the reader's imagination as a customizable ideal.
In a lot of cases, in these books, the masculine ideal isn't even a man. These books will fetishize mythological creatures, vampires, even inanimate objects. In fact, it comes off as rather creepy, in my opinion.
Whereas on screen, in literal visual fixed embodiments, they are leaner, more pretty, more diffident, more androgynous, less demonstrably and traditionally masculine. So, in the intimate secrecy of the latent realm of the mind, the preferred male hottie is brought vividly to life. But in the more socialized, culturally influenced gender politics realm of film and streaming, they prefer, or alleged to prefer, more passive, de-adrenalized, conventional simps and unthreatening nicer types of men.
There's a reason why Hollywood tried pushing Pedro Pascal as the new masculine ideal for the 21st century. If there was anything good to come out of that, it was the virtually unanimous rejection of that absurd lunacy.
The consequences in Hollywood of this dulling down are also drearily clear. They're literally having to scour agencies looking for traditional archetypes. Love story producers say masculine men are hard to find. We're not making those guys anymore. Executive producer Brad Simpson recently shared that casting JFK Jr. was hard. We were 3 weeks away from shooting, and we still had not cast him. We'd seen every male actor between the ages of 25 and 38. Part of it was just that sort of 80s old-school masculinity. A man with hair in his chest, sort of Richard Gere, Tom Selleck, the classic chiseled looks. We're not making those guys anymore, for some reason, and we really needed to have that.
It's because that masculine ideal was beaten out of countless men and boys for the last few decades. When masculinity became demonized in all of its forms, you cannot be surprised when masculinity just takes a backseat and the men just dip on out.
What the likes of Sabrina Carpenter, that manufactured entertainer, don't appreciate is that women can love and adore men, tragically, with a beautiful fatalism, and it can be feminine and classic. These talentless hacks should take a tip from Amy Winehouse. So much music nowadays is so like, you don't know me, I don't need you. And all the music then was kinda like, I don't care if you don't love me, I will lie down on the road, pour my heart out and show it to you. Sadly, in this age of casual sexism, casual misandry, Amy Winehouse's covals don't know what that means.
I think the entertainment industry has created an absolute monster that produces nothing but hate and profits from the very same hate that it produces. They made hate an industrial complex and have caused a lot of damage between men and women. If you would like to get early access to videos, weekly lectures, and case study breakdowns of human behavior, make sure you check out the members area link below in the video description. Otherwise, make sure to click on one of these videos on screen now if you enjoyed. Make sure you take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.